Hello friends and welcome to my commentary corner. If you're new here, welcome, and if you like Bob's Burgers, trust me, you are in the right place and you should stick around because we have a good time around here. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for being a part of the burger community. What do you guys want to be called as my fans? I'm just kidding. Okay, sorry. But also, yes, I've kind of been thinking about it. I, of course, have a big fan base for Bob's Burgers, and I feel like it would be easy to just do something like Burger Buddies or something like that. But I also am watching some other TV shows and doing commentary on other things, so I don't want it to just be Bob's Burgers, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Anyways, this isn't important. My question for you all today is, are Bob Belcher and Jimmy Pesto codependent upon each other? This is a strange question because, well, they're rivals. So it's like, what the heck, codependent? No, they hate each other. It's a classic Timmy Turner's dad. What is his name? What is Timmy Turner's dad? I don't know. It's a classic Timmy Turner's dad and Dinkelberg, Plankton and Mr. Krabs, Doofenshmirtz and Perry the Platypus, Megamind versus his name? Metro Man. I could only think of Metrocity. It's a classic nemesis plot. But do you think that maybe just a little bit Bob and Jimmy need each other? And I kind of think so. And we're going to talk about that today. So let's jump into it. Bob and Jimmy, of course, have this ongoing rivalry that on the surface seems very simple. They hate each other. Jimmy constantly mocks and pokes fun at Bob for his lack of customers, bad business skills, weight, weird kids, all of these things.
I'm Bob, and I like kale.
Kale? There's nothing wrong with kale.
Okay, Mr. Fancy Face. Let's see who's got customers. I got some. Let's see who doesn't. Oh, you.
And Bob hates Jimmy for doing those things to him. And also the fact that he just has all kinds of customers, but not so great food. If we're being honest, bad food. From what we've seen in the show and how people talk about the food, I don't think it's very quality. So on the surface, it seems to be that they don't like each other, they're rivals, and that's that. Or is it? I don't think so. I think that their relationship is a bit more complex than it lets on. And that's something that I love about this show. Nothing is necessarily as it seems. And that's what life is like. That's what people are like. People are not black and white. People are complex and dynamic and always changing. Then I feel like that's no different with this show and with Bob and Jimmy's relationship. Starting off with the first example, and I feel like this really sets off the rivalry between these two. The episode Burger War, which is in season 1, episode 10. The Belchers, of course, don't have great business. They're always late with their rent. They are struggling to pay the bills. They're kind of poor, which is quite unfortunate for how great of a chef Bob is. But it's just, it is what it is. And Mr. Fischoeder comes and lets them know that...
Listen, Jimmy Pesto has tendered an offer on this space.
Jimmy Pesto? He wants to move over here?
Yes, he wants to move his gift shop over here.
Gift shop?
This is disastrous. The last thing that Bob wants is to lose his restaurant, and then to put the cherry on top and rub salt in the wound, it's Jimmy Pesto who wants to take it over and insult him by turning it into an expansion for his gift shop. What the heck, Jimmy? Jimmy knows exactly what he's doing. He's trying to egg Bob on. I feel like one of the reasons why Jimmy loves to poke fun at Bob is because he's so easily rage baited. Like, he just gets riled up really fast. And I relate. I am also very easily angered. I don't know, man. I just be getting overwhelmed. I'm sorry. I'm just an emotional being, okay? And so I feel my boy Bob. It's just stuff be getting on your nerves. And Jimmy just knows how to push all of his buttons. Jimmy finds a way to sabotage Bob at every twist and turn, and this is the last straw. He's finally trying to ruin him, buy out his restaurant because they can't pay their rent on time. Mr. Fischoeder is seriously considering not renewing the lease with them because of the lack of payment.
You're always late with the rent. And Jimmy pays early.
Honestly, I mean, he's not wrong in that. It probably is a thing that happens and is in their right to do as a landlord. But, of course, for our love of the Belchers tells us, no, please don't do it. So anyways, they're in panic mode, and Bob is now trying to figure out how to market the restaurant and save Bob's Burgers. But I think it's funny because they show you this almost obsession that Jimmy and Bob have with each other and just how much they are fixated on what the other one has.
What is this obsession with him?
I'm not obsessed with him.
Yeah, you are. It's like you guys are stalking each other.
Bob is jealous that Jimmy has a thriving business despite the fact that he doesn't really have good food. And he kind of just seems to have it all. Jimmy seems to be jealous of Bob. And though he does not come right out and say it, and you kind of have to pick it up throughout the show, Bob, though he has a not so thriving business, he's got a good family, a loving family, and close relationship with them, and really good food. He's a great chef. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later, but it's just interesting to see how they're both angry at each other because they want what the other one has. The grass is always greener. Everybody wants what everyone else has. It's a tale as old as time. Nobody's grateful. And something that really pushes Bob over the edge is that Jimmy Pesto decides to put burgers on his menu.
What's he up to now? What? Oh my god!
Now serving burgers.
Burgers! That's it. It's time for a showdown.
And it's funny because I feel like Jimmy does pretty much anything that he does just to mess with Bob. Like, not because he wants to help his business or better himself. It's all just to prove that he is better than Bob. And so he puts burgers on his menu, advertises it. Bob is like, this is ridiculous. Then Bob tries to market the restaurant by putting out flyers. And of course, Jimmy just has to do it. Gotta do it. And he does it.
Tonight only, our competitors' flyers good for half off your meal plus a free t-shirt? Oh my god. No. No. Those are my customers! This is a war now. This is a war.
And so now the Flyers have backfired and it just feels like they can't win. Also, if you have not seen that video, I have a video about the Belchers asking, do they really win? Because it feels like they lose at a whole lot. But I made a whole video about this, and long story short, yes, I do believe that they win in life, but they do have a whole lot of challenges. Jimmy Pesto being one of them. Bob then gets his creative juices flowing and he puts together a masterpiece.
He's attempting to make the most difficult burger known to man. I've only seen him do it once successfully.
What is it?
He calls it the meat saya. It's beef tartare inside a burger, medium well inside a burger Wellington.
Is Dad gonna die?
Maybe, honey, maybe.
The meat saya is going to save the restaurant. Bob definitely seems like one of those people who, when put under pressure, performs really well because he creates a really cool food item that is just inventive and fun and creative and could, really be in like Michelin star restaurants. And so I feel like this also taps into something for them as well, and that Jimmy almost serves as a motivation for Bob to push himself. In general, I think external pressure is somewhat helpful for Bob. And it's funny, like for me, I think some people work better under pressure. I can't do too much pressure, otherwise I kind of crumble. I will get the job done, but it won't necessarily be quality. Whereas I feel like people like Bob, like they can make quality stuff even under the most pressure, which I'm kind of jealous of. But anyways, something else that's interesting that you get to see, and it's like a little window into what Jimmy's life is really like. After putting the burger on the menu and acting like, I'm gonna buy your restaurant, Bob, and I'm better than you, and I have all these customers, therefore I must have a better restaurant, better food, better everything. And he tries his own burger by himself, and
It's pretty good. Pretty good. It's not good. It's not good. It's not good. Go in the garbage.
because it's not a good burger, because, well, he does Italian food. But then also, I don't necessarily think he's like I don't even know who the heck does the chefing? The cooking. The cooking. I was like, what's the word for making food? Does Jimmy Pesto? I don't think he's the chef. Is he the chef? I don't even know. What they kind of hint at is that he mainly does like frozen food and just heats things up. So he very well may be the guy in the back who's doing the chefing. I'm gonna say chefing as a verb.
You think anything that isn't frozen or rotten is fancy, Jimmy?
So yeah, he doesn't do food other than Italian food. But even then, the Italian food I don't think is very good. I just think he is a businessman and knows how to market himself well. And so of course the burger just isn't good, and he's mad about that. He's like, why? Like, it's not good. And it's like, I don't know. It shows you that Jimmy just is not all that. And he is putting on a show. He does not have it all together. He doesn't have amazing food at this restaurant. It may be thriving, but not necessarily for a good reason. I mean, you even get to find out later on down the line that Jimmy uses horse meat in his food because it's cheaper. And that's a little disturbing, but like, he cuts corners clearly in everything that he does just so that he can save a buck here and exploit people. And it's just, he may have patrons, but at what cost, just to show that he has customers? Okay, cool. I just thought that that was interesting. I like these little bits that you get to see with Jimmy by himself and what he's missing. And of course, Jimmy is constantly poking fun at Bob, tormenting him basically. He's just made it his life's goal to mock Bob Belcher, from beating him in the game Burger Boss and putting Bob Sucks on the leaderboard.
You got over 300,000 points!
Ah!
Bob Sucks. That's really funny, Jimmy.
The Super Bowl commercial and stealing his NFL Super Bowl player.
So, Sandy Fry, why will you be at Jimmy Pesto's signing autographs during and after the Super Bowl? Instead of at some stupid greasy burger shack.
Because Jimmy Pesto's pizza goes great with fries.
I mean, just stealing idea after idea from Bob. One thing Jimmy Pesto is going to do is he's going to be a thief because, well, clearly he doesn't have any good ideas of his own, but Bob does. But he's never going to say that. Until one time when he kind of does admit to it. It's just clear that Jimmy overcompensates so that people can't really see that he doesn't have it all together. Something that I thought of immediately was from the Yachty Are Nice episode. Jimmy is desperate to get into the yacht club, and during a holiday party, he recommends Bob as a caterer, and when they introduce Jimmy into the episode, you see that he bought a yacht. But clearly he didn't have money for this yacht because Trev lets everyone know that
Jimmy Pesto?
You took out a second mortgage for this! Shush!
Also, what does that even mean? I know I'm supposed to be an adult, but I don't know what these things mean. What do you mean you took out a second, third mortgage? I don't know what that is. I mean, I could take an educated guess, but I'm not going to embarrass myself on here, so...
More than I already do.
So clearly he doesn't have money for this boat, but he acts like he did. And he wants to keep that under wraps. And he's like, Trev, shut up. Don't tell people that. What the heck? It's all an act. But leaning into the point that their rivalry is a bit more complex than it lets on, is that in that same episode in Yachty or Nice, this is where you get to kind of see some of the underlying things in this relationship between them. He lets Bob know that the reason he recommended Bob is because
I thought they would like your food, and then they would like me because I recommended you, and that's how I'd get into the thing.
You thought they would like my food?
Oh, it sounds gross when you say it.
Bob was not expecting this, of course, because, well, Jimmy always makes fun of him and his food and how his food must be gross. So, of course, Bob believes him because Bob is insecure. It lets you see that Jimmy secretly thinks that Bob is good at what he does. And dare I say, has respect for him. So much so that he goes against his usual behavior to sabotage and actually tries to support Bob in this. Now, granted, at the end of things, really his goal was to be a part of the yacht club, so it was for himself. But in that agenda of his, he was actually trying to push Bob forward a little bit. And I really appreciated that because I feel like it showed Bob a different side to Jimmy. It shows the audience a different side to Jimmy, and that there's more to him than meets the eye, basically. But I think it all comes down to insecurity and envy, really. And, fans will theorize about this, and I absolutely think it's true that underneath all of Jimmy's antagonism of Bob, he's jealous of him. He's jealous that he is a good chef, he has a loving family, he has friendships, but, more genuine friendships in his life than he has. Though he may not have financial stability, he has much more wholesome things in his life, like relationship and love. Jimmy does not have these things, and it's just pretty clear to you once you see how they interact that Jimmy is envious of that. And who wouldn't be, So I think rather than coming from a place of hate, I think Jimmy is deeply insecure. I think personally that Bob and Jimmy somewhat need each other. I think that without Jimmy, Bob would not have a clear rival and competition, something to help him strive for more and for greatness. And a lot of moments of personal growth for Bob in the show are actually prompted by Jimmy's pushback and his sabotage. The first thing that came to my mind was the episode, it was when they did Bog to Harbor, but they did the float parade and Jimmy decides to enter the float parade last minute to beat out Bob, of course.
Hey, Bob! Horn doesn't work. Check this out, huh? This is what a float looks like.
No.
Anyway, I do everything better than you, so you're gonna lose. Ooh, Yeah.
And just makes that day absolutely awful for Bob, to the point where he basically ruins his own chances of doing well in the contest. But by the end of things, he realizes this mistake and that Bob was fixated way too much on this rivalry and not enough on spending time with his family and making the most of the situation that he had been given. He learned to let loose a little bit. He learned to let go.
Maybe I have been a little grumpy.
Come on, we're here for the cash prize. That's what matters here, the money.
Oh my God, what is wrong with me? I'm dancing! I'm having fun! Hey kids, I took my clothes off! Go Dad!
And so that was one example of just a moment of character development for Bob that was almost prompted by Jimmy. But I think that without that external pressure, I don't know that Bob would grow as quickly as he does. So in a way, it's good for him. Though it's really annoying and hard, some of those more difficult inconveniences in life are the thing that helps you to grow the most. So I think that Jimmy, in a weird way, motivates Bob in a personal sense, just as a human being, but also in a business sense. If Jimmy hadn't been basically threatening his business and to buy him out, Bob probably wouldn't have tried to market the business. I don't know if he would have tried to go out there and put out flyers and all of that and get the word out about Bob's Burgers. Because I think Bob inherently is an anxious person and is afraid to put himself out there for fear of failure. But out of this place of desperation and to beat Jimmy, he thought, I need to put myself out there. I have to do something to save my business. Same thing happened with the Super Bowl. You know, he was like, I need to beat out Jimmy. I'm going to have more customers than Jimmy on the Super Bowl and I have to prove him wrong. So I'm going to put some money into a commercial for the restaurant. And so it's these things that he probably would not have done if he did not have something to push him. And as for Jimmy with Bob, I think, well, one, Jimmy needs someone to be the butt of his joke, essentially to serve as a metric for himself, to make himself look better, because he needs someone to make himself feel better, because clearly he doesn't like himself. And that's really sad. We're getting real here. Jimmy probably does not like himself, probably doesn't like his life. And the only way that he can express probably some of that frustration and anger is through attacking Bob. That's just what happens. People don't know how to deal with their emotions, so they tend to project. And I think Jimmy also needs Bob really to see what healthy relationship looks like. Healthy marriage, healthy parenting, healthy friendship. Jimmy clearly doesn't have a model like that in his life other than Bob. So I think in a way, it helps him, it humanizes him. So I think that Bob without Jimmy and Jimmy without Bob would be a different show. I think that they are potentially a bit codependent upon each other. I mean, like I said at the very beginning in my intro, it reminds me just of these rivalries that we are well aware of, the rivalry between Plankton and Mr. Krabs and him always trying to steal the Krabby Patty formula, or Megamind and Metro Man. Like whenever Megamind finally gets Metro Man, whenever he defeats him, if that's a spoiler for you, because he didn't actually defeat him, of course, he just faked his own death. Sorry, it's been out for forever, so that's on you. But yeah, whenever he finally thinks that he defeats Metro Man, Megamind is lost. He doesn't know what to do with his life. He had spent his entire life having this rivalry with him and was at a loss. He had no meaning anymore to his life, which is kind of dark.
I've made a horrible mistake. I didn't mean to destroy you. I meant to destroy you, but I didn't think it would really work. What's the point of being bad when there's no good to try and stop you?
But yeah, so I feel like it just has a similar ring to it. It has a similar feel. It's like, low-key, y'all are kind of friends. And like, let's talk it out. Let's communicate, because clearly you guys want to be in each other's lives. Let's sing some kumbaya, hold hands, be buddy-buddy. Or at least partners, because as I've said, I feel like Bob and Jimmy Pesto could potentially be really great business partners and really serve each other well, because Bob clearly has the chef skills and can cook good food. And Jimmy clearly is a great businessman. Come together, be a power partnership, make a great restaurant. But I don't know, that would take a whole lot of growth. So I think that Bob and Jimmy could low-key be really great friends if they both grew, especially Jimmy. He needs some therapy, y'all. Jimmy Pesto, poor guy, he needs therapy. Let me know in the comments what you think. I find their dynamic to be very interesting. Next week, we're going to be doing another Bob's Burgers and King of the Hill crossover, and I'm going to be asking the question, do you think that Bob Belcher is the anti-Hank Hill? And we're going to discuss that. So make sure to hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on the alert for that, and so that you can see this face a whole lot more. And also hit that like button if you guys like this video, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye!